welcome to the No Spin News, Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Stand up for your country. Well, a lot to tell you this evening. I have a little bit different take on the Charlie Kirk memorial service yesterday than most people do, because that's me. I mean, I always see things a little bit differently, and we're going to lay it all out there for you. It was an important event, and I'm not sure Americans understand how important. I'm going to try to bring some perspective. Also tonight, I'm going to tell you about a story that's been way underreported, and that's the congressional hearings about Joe Biden in the White House. I mean, I hardly got any traction at all because the Democrats and the liberal media don't want you to know what was going on there. I just think it's fascinating. I'm a historian, wrote Confronting the Presidents, and Confronting will come out paperback in November. Obviously, we got the hardback of Confronting Evil out now in hardback. And I wrote a new Biden chapter in the paperback, scorched them. I'm not going to pretend that I just scorched them, because he did a lot of damage. So that's a heads up. But anyway, let's start tonight. The Talking Points memo is on a memorial. So more than 100,000 people showed up, which is an extraordinary showing of support for Charlie Kirk and his family. I'm taking this from the Glendale police estimate. Some people say there were 200,000. It was packed. Cables took it, but networks did not. Networks had football and other things, and I understood that. Cables were there. They ran it. CNN, MS, FNC, NewsNation. And generally speaking, I was popping back and forth. They covered it straight. It wasn't a bunch of... Afterward, there was a problem, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. But as the coverage unfolded, it was fun. Very emotional. And the star of the show, if you want to use that context, but the most memorable person in the memorial service was Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow. And she did an extraordinary thing, and I'm sure you heard it, but I want to put it into the proper perspective. Let's roll that tape.
Charlie's life was a turning point for this country. It was a miracle. Let that miracle that was Charlie's life be your turning point as well. Choose prayer. Choose courage. Choose beauty. Choose adventure. Choose family. Choose a life of faith. Most importantly, choose Christ.
Okay, now some objected to that, the atheists, the secularists, but why would you? Charlie Kirk's movement, Turning Point, was essentially a conservative Christian movement. So you remember that there was a period of time, about 10, 15 years ago, when conservative Christians had their own, and they still to this day have their own network, but that Kirk was political, but he was also theological. So that was perfectly in context. To talk about the man's legacy, you would have to do that. So I know some people went, hey, conservative Christians are entitled to tell you and everybody else what their belief system is, and this was certainly in context. Then Erica Kirk stunned the world, I would think. Roll it.
My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. That young man On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Now, that was a unbelievably powerful moment, particularly when you put it into the context of that Erica has at home a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. And the daughter's going, "Where's Daddy?" Can you imagine? I can't. Yet she, and I think very sincerely, said that she forgives the assassin. And I'm not at the level of Erica Kirk. I have a hard time with this. And I'm going to play you a soundbite from the president in a moment, who he and I are on the same wavelength here. I have a very hard time forgiving evil unless there's repentance. So in my book, Confronting Evil, none of the 15 miscreants ever showed any sign of remorse for their horrible, horrible deeds. Now, I don't know about this guy in Utah. You know, we don't have access to him. But after he shot and killed Charlie Kirk, there was no thread go, "Oh, what did I do?" or anything like that. I have a hard time. I've talked about this to Catholic theologians at a very high level. I said, look, I'm supposed to forgive Hitler. I'm supposed to forgive Mao. I'm supposed to forgive Stalin, the slavers, the robber barons, the assassins, Lee Harvey Oswald. And they don't repent. There's no "I'm sorry." If you're a Christian and somebody asks you for forgiveness, says, "I'm sorry," you have to forgive them. Or you have to resign. Because that's the theology. But if they don't, and they continue their evil ways, and the only reason that this assassin can't do more damage is because he's incarcerated, what do you do? So, but again, I am not as benevolent a person as Erica Kirk. So then the president picked up on that, and now his speech was written for him, as almost every president does. But he ad-libbed this part. Roll the tape.
In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
Well, he's an honest guy anyway, you know? And again, I got a list. I got a list. And boy, and I know that Donald Trump, people try to destroy him and his family very, very hard. But that goes back to Mrs. Kirk. The president then picked up on the legacy. What does this all mean for the country? Roll it.
We owe Charlie a profound and eternal debt of gratitude now. Just like Charlie and Erica made Turning Point hot, we are looking at a country that has the chance to attain a level like never before. Tariffs are making us rich again, richer than anybody ever thought was possible. And the only one challenging them are people that hate our country or foreign countries that are paying a price, because they did the same thing to us for years. They took advantage of us.
Well, it's negatively political. And again, some people objected, but I'm saying, okay, I understand the objection, but it's perfectly in the context to what Charlie Kirk did. And he lost his life because he spoke out on policy. So Mr. Kirk was killed because of his political point of view. And so when you have a president there, knows the world is listening, he's going to reinforce that point of view because he knows that everybody in the arena is on his side and Charlie Kirk's side. Would I have done it probably a little differently? But it was not out of context, as some people are saying, in my opinion. So, again, the legacy will be the conservative Christian movement will become more powerful, particularly because Erica Kirk is now in charge, and an extraordinary woman, that's for sure. And that's the memo. September is National Preparedness Month, and it's perfect time to ask, how much food do you have for emergencies? How would you get clean water? What if you lost power for a week? Luckily, our friends at My Patriot Supply are making disaster preparedness easier and more affordable than ever by giving you more than $1,500 worth of emergency food and preparedness free. They just launched their Preparedness Month Mega Kit. It includes a year of emergency food, a water filtration system that can purify almost any water source, a solar backup generator, and more. So please go to mypatriotsupply.com/bill. Get 90 preparedness essentials. Say that 5 times. Totaling more than $1,500. Free. Head to mypatriotsupply.com/bill for details. Let's bring in a guy who saw it all. He was there. Leland Vittert is an anchorman on NewsNation, and he was the chief anchorman for that network covering the memorial. You must have seen some things that you weren't expecting. Can you
for sure. For sure, Bill.
That?
And your producer emailed me for this hit and said that you wanted to discuss the stuff I picked up on that folks at home didn't get to see. The number one thing that folks at home didn't get to see that we saw was as President Trump became nakedly political, and as he said, I hate my opponents, and on and on and on, people started walking out, and not a few. Tonight on my program on NewsNation, I will show you the video of the stands emptying as Trump went on and turned this in to a rally speech. And I think what it shows is that for as much as President Trump understands his crowd, and look, following Erica Kirk was unbelievably hard, but he just did not understand the moment.
How many? So there were what, 70,000 inside?
Yeah. By the end of Trump's speech, it was less than half full, maybe even a third full. It was a stunning rebuke of President Trump, and I think you have to realize that stadium was filled for Charlie Kirk. Donald Trump's done a lot of things. He has never filled a football stadium with overflow, and Charlie Kirk did. And I think this brings us to understanding the difference between Turning Point USA and the organization that Charlie Kirk created and what they believe in, and the politics of Donald Trump. Now, you can say very easily, well, look, Trump's just incapable of not being the center of attention, of not being the most important person in the room. That may be something to it, but there was a squandering, I think, by President Trump of the moment. In just not understanding what the crowd needed at that time.
Do you think he got it back afterward with the embrace of Erica Kirk and the sympathy that he showed to her?
Yeah.
And the second question I would have would be, if you have a memorial based upon a man who was assassinated because of his political beliefs, shouldn't those beliefs be highlighted? See, that's why I didn't have any problem with with what Donald Trump was saying. I would have said it a little bit differently. I wish I had written a speech, but I didn't have any trouble because that's the essence of this whole thing. That Charlie Kirk lost his life because he espoused certain things, and they're compatible with President Trump.
Well, a couple of things to that. One, Charlie Kirk was the first person who was able to merge politics and faith. So many had tried to turn a faith movement into a political movement in America. He did it. And I'm not an analyst or a partisan or a guy with opinions. I'm a journalist. And I don't think it really matters whether people think they should be able to, or it makes sense, or it should, the views were compatible. The crowd spoke with their feet. When Donald Trump did that, he lost the audience.
Okay.
And I had folks calling me at home saying, "What is going on here?" And the idea, I think, that Erica Kirk gave that speech. You had that moment, and you said something else you couldn't pick up on. When she said that, I forgive, my husband's assassin. I've never been in a football stadium, that you felt the emotion, the physical response of, I sort of wanted to throw up. I sort of wanted to cry. I had admiration. I'm still emotional thinking about that moment. And the fact that then Donald Trump walks out and goes, "Hey, Lee Greenwood, nobody can sing it like you." What are you doing?
Well, I didn't say. I think you're being a little harsh on Trump on that one. I think what he wanted to do, because I know him so well and I know how he prepares for this kind of stuff, I think he wanted to basically get on the side of Erica Kirk, get on her side, and then say, as I said in the lead up to this interview, look, Erica Trump is a better person than I am. I can't do it.
Erica Kirk.
I'm sorry, Erica Kirk is a better person than I am. I can't bring that level of forgiveness. I thought that was a good moment for Trump.
I thought the embracing her was a great moment. He should have done it at the beginning. That's what the crowd needed. So I'm just telling you from being in the room that when he came out and did the whole Lee Greenwood thing, it just didn't work. It felt like a rally. This wasn't a rally. This was a revival. And there's a difference.
I think it's a valid point. You did not want it to feel like a rally, but it's so hard. Just keep this in mind, and I'll talk about this on your show tonight, because I'm going to be on with Leland at 9 on NewsNation. When you lose your life because of your political beliefs, Leland, whether it's Martin Luther King Jr., whether it's Bobby Kennedy, whether it's John F. Kennedy, when you lose your life, that's what took his life. Somebody reinforcing those beliefs to a crowd that may not know. Because remember, a lot of people didn't know Charlie Kirk. They don't know what Turning Point is. That's true. But remember, he's playing worldwide here.
Yeah, Bill, I hear you. I've not covered politics as long as you have, but from my sort of covering of the movement and the people, he missed the moment to hold people's hand and to say, "I feel your pain and I feel your loss, and we can all learn from you, Erica." And I'll put it another way, just raw politics here. Donald Trump never filled the football stadium. Charlie Kirk did. The power of Turning Point USA to pull together a 100,000 person event in a week was stunning.
Yeah.
We were all the media. So they did all this. That organization's got serious power and serious staying power. And I think you run the risk of squandering this moment to merge MAGA and Turning Point USA. That was the moment that Trump had.
But that's not what he does. Donald Trump lives in the moment. He's not thinking about that. But here's something interesting. The criticism of Trump after the memorial service ended on the networks and MS and CNN was muted. It was muted. Everybody was told to tone it down.
Yeah.
because they would have opened up. Even on The View today and a few of the others, they didn't come after him the way they might have.
Yeah, I think we're in a different moment politically because of, one, these networks have seen the backlash that has happened with their viewership. Two, they've seen the backlash that's happened corporately. And the threat of that and the feeling about that is very real. I didn't watch the coverage. I was sort of doing
you have to trust me on that one.
Yeah, so
I got it. I got the stats here. Once we banish you, I'm going to read them. But anyway, look, I understand what your point of view is. See it a little bit differently.
Yeah, I understand. But I'll just give you. I'll give you this last thing to think about. This is what the conservative movement in America is going to be. And I think you saw a two-path turning point, if you will, or inflection point here of, does MAGA become turning point, which has this very deep faith-based discussion,
right,
and basis, or do they remain separate? Now, that's the inflection point.
Nobody can predict. I will tell you this: if Erica Kirk decides to run for higher office, she'll win.
Well, that's what I always said about her husband, right? That if her husband, her husband would have been president or a nominee.
Right there. All right, Leland, we'll see you tonight, 9 Eastern, News Nation. We appreciate it very much. If you are stressed about back taxes and maybe missed the April deadline, or your books are a mess, act now. Because the IRS is cracking down and penalties are up to 25% just for not filing. Tax Network USA has helped thousands of Americans lift that burden. And they can help you, whether you are an employee, small business owner, or haven't filed in years. They have seen it all and know exactly how to clean it up. Tax Network USA's expert negotiators have direct access to powerful IRS programs, and they know how to win. You'll get a free consultation, and if you qualify, they will help you reduce or eliminate what you owe. Plus, they'll protect you from wage garnishments and bank levies. So please don't wait. 800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/bill. That's tnusa.com/bill. Homeowners, when is the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles, and your equity is a target. Criminals forge your signature. Just like that, your home title can be transferred out of your name. That's why I partnered up with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Please use my promo code BILL at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you will get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts of any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code BILL. We'd like you to go to BillO'Reilly.com store, pick up the unbelievably popular Not Woke mat. It's outside my door, selling out of them. And if you come a premium or concierge member, you get a big discount on a Not Woke mats, big discount. And you get Confronting Evil or any of my other books free. What else do we have to do? Do I have to come to your house and hand it to you? Come on. Word of the day, no cacophony. CACAPHONY, no cacophony. Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. All right, final thought of the day. Who's the second best-selling nonfiction author in the world? Bob Woodward, okay? So he has 15. I have 20. Woodward is 82. I don't think he's going to beat me. And nobody else will. Woodward will be number 2 forever. I'll be number 1 forever. People don't read as much. That's what's happened. Concentration spans are collapsing. So the Confronting series, obviously, people like it. But I think I'm going to go to my grave as the number 1 best-selling nonfiction author of all time. Not that anybody will mention it. They'll just tell you how bad I am or was. But, all right. You guys know the real truth. All right. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. See you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.